and now they tell me we're going to go to the WCSB news desk where Ken Robinson is standing nervously by, waiting to give us all the results. Hit it, Ken.
From the polls right to you, WCSB News keeps you informed with election coverage.
Thank you, Rich, and good evening, everyone. This is WCSB's election night coverage. Richard Celeste is holding on to his lead. He now leads in the Ohio gubernatorial race by 30,000 votes. Celeste has 95,456, and Rhodes has 65,218. That's with 700 precincts in. In the school levy, well, earlier tonight, WCSB News predicted that the school levy would fail, and apparently it is doing so. With 400 precincts in, 44,900 voted against the levy, and 24,700 have voted for. So voters in Cleveland today have rejected the levy by about a 2-to-1 margin. A $3.7 million levy, it was designed to generate about $11 million annually for the financially strapped Cleveland Board of Education, with 400 precincts, out of a total of 649 already in. You just heard the vote. It's going down to defeat by about 20,000 votes. School board member George Dobria said that the anti-busing vote on the west side apparently killed the levy.
It's a little bit early to say, but obviously at this point the strong support that we felt was going to come forward from the levy on both sides of town did not occur, and it looks to me like somewhat of a light vote on the east side and still a very strong anti-levy vote on the west side, which shows to me that people are voting against busing very obviously.
In the commissioner's race, with 500 precincts in, Taft has 48,573, and Feehan is leading with 59,000 votes. WCSB News predicts that William J. Brown will be re-elected as Attorney General, and that Gertrude Donahue will win over Rogers in the county treasurer's race. In the 99th Ohio District congressional race, Wayne Hayes is leading Contos, and Hayes has 57.4% of the vote. Contos has a mere 24.6%. Now, here with the national election scene is Bob Walker of ABC News.
Democrats in Minnesota singing the blues tonight as ABC News projects both Democratic Senate seats from Minnesota going to the Republicans. Rudy Boschwitz over Wendell Anderson, the Democratic incumbent, in a comfortable margin. Anderson, appointed December 30th, 1976, to fill the vacancy caused by the election of Democrat Walter Mondale as vice president. The other Minnesota Senate race, ABC News projecting Dave Durenberger, a comfortable victor over Democrat Robert Short. That's for the seat vacated by the incumbent Muriel Humphrey, who did not seek election to the remaining 4 years of the term held by her husband. No projections yet on what is expected to be a very tight race in Texas between Democrat challenger Bob Kruger, the Republican incumbent John Tower. This is for the Senate race, but as Tony Sargent tells us, they did not exactly take the high road.
Well, 43-year-old Bob Kruger is a Shakespearean scholar, has a Ph.D. from Oxford, in fact. 53-year-old John Tower is a sometime professor, but their contest has not been genteel. There have been allegations, for example, from some Kruger backers that Tower likes to drink now and then and does not lack an eye for feminine beauty. There have been questions about Kruger being a bachelor at age 43. Certainly not very lofty campaign issues. Both men have spent a lot of money. Tower, by the way, is the only Republican Texas has ever sent to the U.S. Senate. Tony Sargent, ABC News at our Election News Center.
And the big election news at this hour, nationally, the Democrats gained control of the Senate and moved toward continued lopsided House and Senate majorities. Republican Senator Edward Brooke of Massachusetts, the senator's only black, lost to liberal Representative Paul Tsongas. Brooke entered the contest battered by a messy divorce settlement and continuing questions about statements he made regarding his financial condition. He trailed Tsongas 52 to 48%, and in the past, Brooke carried Massachusetts by 1 million votes. And that's our late election returns. I'm Ken Robinson, WCSB News.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Ken. A stalwart job. Well done. By the way, Ken, what was the results? How is issue 4 coming along?
Issue 4. Our last results on issue 4.
Watch this. This is what is called putting the news department into a panic.
Now, hold on, everybody. We have it here. Issue 4, the issue to reduce the size of city council, among other things, is being defeated by a 2-1 margin. We have 12,000 votes against, a little over 6,500 for.
Well, that's good, because I spent the afternoon freezing various extremities of my body off campaigning against issue 4, and I was curious.
Oh, gee, I didn't realize.
You notice I came walking in without extremities and things like that.
Oh, right.
Well, okay. So now that the news department has rebounded very capably from that questioning, we'll get back to some more jazz, and we'll join them with more election coverage later on.